Mach 3, give me Crucio on 2, 3, and 4.
Shop line 1, X1.
6, 3. Mach 3, give me start, line 2.
511.
Mach 3, give me start, line 1, and Crucio on 7 and 9.
Line 1, so 7 and on my notes.
Do something. I hate that.
Super off line 3, red ball, avionics.
Super Ops, line 15, code 3, light in the gear handle.
Make sure you stick around until after the end of the episode for your chance at a giveaway courtesy of Arod and Salute2Suit. Okay, so today I'm joined by Arod, the owner and operator of Salute2Suits, an organization that specializes in custom tailored suits with a focus towards service members and transitioning service members and veterans. So first of all, thank you very much for coming on and doing this podcast, Arod. I think it's absolutely amazing what your company does, and I can't thank you enough for coming on.
My pleasure, Chris, man. Thanks to everyone, to your whole listeners there for their service.
Yeah. So I kind of want to jump in because I know our time's limited. You didn't serve in the military, is that correct?
That is correct. What prompted me to do this, never wore the uniform because I had some health issues growing up as a kid, but I've been surrounded by military, man, my whole life. And I saw firsthand the challenges and difficulties that my family and friends went through after a career in the military, which I'm sure all your listeners can attest to. Now it's time for their TAPS classes and medical board and all this information you're given. And on top of that, now you got to buy professional clothing.
Yeah.
So the questions pop up, right? Where do you go and who do you start, who do you trust, all that stuff. So for me, it really resonated with me. So 8 years ago, I wanted to do something to give back. So I created Salute2Suit with 5 services in mind that you all deserve, which revolves around fit, fabric, style, color, and affordability. So it's become my passion now to really educate and empower the military community that's very dear to me on dressing for success or successful dressing.
So you started this 8 years ago. How long have you been in the suit and the industry?
I spent the past, I'm an old guy, man. I spent the past 47 plus years perfecting my craft in the fashion world. Back in the day, I would take care of Major League Baseball players and whatnot. My schooling comes from Savile Row, London. So I come from the custom world, which is bespoke clothing. You know, there's 3 ways to buy a suit, which we can get into it later. But being in the custom world, I did a lot of people in Fortune 500 companies, celebrities, athletes, and all that. So my resume is quite extensive. But I got kind of tired of that whole corporate world and took some time off. Took 2 years to kind of decompress and saw the challenges firsthand. And I said, you know what? There's something I can do to kind of give back. Truth be told, I actually own a suit manufacturing company. It makes me the direct source. We own the fabrication, the distribution, and about 35 master tailors that we're able to probably provide close to 2,500 suits a month to the military community. I'm enjoying myself.
I see that. That's huge. So you started this 8 years ago. Like, what was it like developing the company and who's on your board of directors? Like, can you tell me a little bit more about the company?
So, not wearing the uniform, as you all know, getting in that community it's not an easy task. So, of course, the questions pop up. Well, who are you, Arod? What do you want from us? So I went to we're out of Las Vegas. So I must have can't even tell you the number of events, military events, that or even hiring events up at Nellis or Creech or just around the community to kind of introduce who I am and what I want to do. So what I did was I simply met a lot of leadership people out here at UNLV, Rebel vets and the military community, and basically said, hey, listen, let me show you what we do. Purchase a suit. You like it, great. You don't, no worries. So the turning point, quite honestly, was again about 8 years ago. A woman named Ellen Reynolds was the head of the Family Readiness Center up at Nellis. So she calls me up and says, hey, Arod, would you mind coming in and doing a Dress for Success class? Now, keep in mind, I didn't wear the uniform, so I'm thinking, well, what's a TAPS class? What is that?
Right.
She explains it to me. She said, well, it's an executive TAPS. So needless to say, when I walk in, you can cut the tension with a knife, right? They're going, well, who's this guy?
Right.
right? I'm going, okay, gentlemen, I'm not here to sell you a thing, but I am here to share my 40 plus years of experience to let you know what to look for when you go buy a suit, especially professional attire, shirts, ties, the whole 9 yards. So the class was supposed to be about a 15 to 20-minute briefing. Well, Chris, it turned out to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because everyone had questions.
Right.
They saw that my passion and what I want to do. So funny story, there were 28 chiefs in the class. 26 went to the ATM to get their money because they wanted to get fitted right there and then while I was there. so being a chief, they're saying, hey, listen, you want us to wait and book an appointment with Arod, but he's in front of us now. So that's why the class took an hour and a half, because I went ahead and I assisted all the chiefs in getting ready for their next chapter, which was kind of fun. So the rest is kind of history. That was the only class we needed, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
So if I wanted to order a suit, what would be the process start to finish? If you can explain that.
Absolutely. So when you go on to our website, you're going to book your appointment, and it's going to guide you. It's going to say, what collection do you want to purchase? We have several: the transition ready, executive, gold, and platinum. Each one has a different amount of items depending on what you need. So once you book your appointment, one of our suit advisors will give you a call and give you a wardrobe assessment. What does that mean? Well, we want to know exactly what's in your closet. Do you have existing suits? If you do they fit? How old are they? Because we don't want to make you something you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same thing with dress shirts. So it's all by category. We ask all these questions so that we can craft your wardrobe accordingly. We kind of refer to what we do as investment dressing. What does that mean? Well, it means that the hard-earned money you're going to invest in your wardrobe, we want to make sure it's going to last you a minimum 7 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's key. That's important. So once we establish that, then we send you pictures of our collections so you can actually see it. So we do it together. We walk you through it and craft your wardrobe. If we're with a blank canvas, then we're going to recommend one of 4 colors: navy blue, charcoal gray, medium gray, or indigo blue. Those are basics. When you're building a wardrobe, it's almost like building a house. You want a strong foundation.
Yeah.
So you want to stick with the basics, things that are timeless. So once we establish that, okay, we have past 47 years, I have a fitting technique that allows us to run 95% accurate, just based on height and weight.
That's amazing.
Well, 47 years, buddy. I took a lot of time perfecting this. Put it that way.
Now, what the listeners don't know is me and Arod did like a pre-interview a couple of weeks ago just to get situated with what he was doing, what's going on. And he sat back and he asked me my height and weight. He told me all of my measurements: neck, arm length, chest, everything. He had it all exactly right. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. So I can vouch for the accuracy. I mean, maybe you're 96% now after me.
Right?
So
here's what happens now. So in about a week and a half, we ship out your order via tracking number. My team sends you a picture via text with the instructions. When you receive it, we want you to reach out back to us, the same customer service number you're going to get a text from, and book an appointment to get on my personal schedule, because I'm the only one who does the actual live virtual blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, like you mentioned, I look at the shirt, the neck, shoulders, chest, sleeve, length, body. Same thing on the jacket: the pant, waist, seat, crotch, thigh, outseam, inseam. So at 95%, you'll be good to go, and then we can make the rest, right? However, let's say that we're off the mark a little bit, maybe something minor, which normally happens. If that's the case, you'll take it to a local tailor. We pick up the tab. Okay. However, let's just say that we're totally off the mark, which doesn't happen, but I got to cover my rear end, right?
Right.
If it does happen, you're going to go ahead and ship it back to us, which we pay for. My master tailors make the adjustments and corrections. We ship it back out to you till it's perfect.
So what's really wild about this model too is during a pandemic, your business model was uniquely adapted to a pandemic, right?
Exactly. I mean, here's what's really funny. You should ask, Chris. So when the pandemic hit, it came last year, in March.
Yeah.
So, when you're doing 2,500 suits a month, and then March hit, you're at zero because no one's buying. Everyone's,
Right.
what's going on? They're shifting. Are we doing remote now? And what are we doing? So March comes zero, April comes zero. And here's what's really interesting. When May hit, the floodgates opened up.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. So our business really, it flourished because of that, where they're going, you know what? I don't want to go in a car. And let's be honest, most men, they fall into one of four dilemmas, if you will, when they go buy clothing. Hate to shop, don't have the time to shop, struggle with putting together an outfit, and they have a hard time distinguishing color, some kind of color blindness. Those are fashion facts.
Yep.
So we alleviate that by our technique and by our process. We give a stress-free service to our members, our service members that deserve it. They have so much to worry about anyways when they're exiting out. I mean, but what's great about our program, it's for not just transitioning, it's for active duty. And if you're in the workforce, it's for them too. Or let's say that you've been out for 10 years and you need some suits, or you need professional attire, you need a sport coat. It's for them too. This is a lifetime membership that doesn't cost anything.
So myself and probably a lot of my listeners, we were mainly in aircraft maintenance, where we wore fatigues to work, but even those we took off to get into like the most basic of one piece sort of coveralls, get covered in filth and grime. And ironically, the only time we would ever put on our blues, our dress uniform, was when we got in trouble. And we wore them so infrequently. It's true. We wore them so infrequently that they very rarely fit comfortably. So I think I'd probably speak for a lot of us to say a lot of us don't know how to wear a suit comfortably. And we have an aversion to wearing a suit, period, coupled with the fact that the military just doesn't require you to wear a suit except for very specific situations. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. You've probably seen a lot of different military members from a lot of different backgrounds. Do you notice there are certain military people that are just totally out of, like a fish out of water when it comes to wearing a suit?
100%. Yes. Remember, like you just mentioned, you've been wearing a uniform for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Now, all of a sudden, you need that interview suit. So the questions pop up we spoke earlier about. Let me kind of walk you through how our stress-free process works, okay?
Okay.
So again, once you decide you want to use us or not, either way, and here's one of the key things, Chris, we want you to use us, but if you don't, that's okay too. It's really my passion to educate and really give you the knowledge and tools that you can use when you walk into any store. So I give these tips. So example, when you walk into a store, the first question you want to ask the sales associate is, how long have you been selling men's clothing? How long have you been in the industry? They tell you 5 to 7 years, run. You want someone seasoned, someone professional that has at least 10 years under their belt, because with that kind of background, they can give you the service, not sell you, but the service that you deserve. They'll ask you the questions like we ask. What job are you looking for? Do you have a suit in your wardrobe? Well, here's supposed to fit. Here's the difference between a slim fit and a modern fit. Okay. And I'll give you an example. On a slim fit model, the armhole on the jacket and the chest on the coat is snug. Same thing on the pant. On a modern fit, it's a deeper armhole, more room around the pant, which is relaxed. So the question you have to ask yourself, do you want a snug fitting suit or relaxed fitting suit? But let me be more definitive on that, Chris. There's 3 ways to purchase a suit. Okay. There's off the rack, which means when you walk into a store, what you see is what you get. Unfortunately, these stores make a lot of money by offering tailoring. You don't want to do that because it can be an arm and a leg. Okay. Then there's tailor fitted, which is we do, which I'll get to that in a second. And then there's custom made. Custom made is called bespoke, BESPOKE. That's a true custom clothing, an outfit or a suit that takes about 8 fittings, takes 4.5 yards to make. It's a whole production. A real custom suit starts at about $2,000 and goes up.
Wow.
Now back to tailor-made clothing, which we do. We have actual shells. It's just a shell of it. There's not even no sleeves on it yet, and it goes from 36 short all the way to 64 long, because depending on your body type that we talked about earlier, are you short, are you regular, or are you tall?
Mhm.
I'll know by just your height and weight. Okay, so once we establish that, and you want to do a slim fit model, then we have slim fit shoulders, slim fit sleeves, slim fit pants. So it's put together.
Oh, you just like Lego it. You put it together like Legos.
I like that. So, but by the time you get it, the only thing you're going to have to do is do bottoms, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So that's what you wanted to stick with.
So I'm in law school now. So I'm moving from aircraft maintenance to law. So clearly my suit ignorance, my clothing ignorance is starting to show. I'm getting close to graduation. So it's probably time for me to start getting smarter on it. How do what do I prioritize for, like, even for either a man or a woman? I guess let's start with men first, because that's what I am. I don't know. How do I dress myself? I know I'm 43 years old and it sounds stupid for me to say that, but how do I dress myself?
No, not at all. Let me walk you through it. So let's start with you. Right now, Chris. So there's 5 categories, fashion categories, depending on our lifestyles, all of us, that we are going to attack regarding your wardrobe, building your wardrobe, depending on your lifestyle. Here are the 5. You ready? There's business, business casual, leisure, golf, and formal. So identify the 5 I just mentioned, Chris. How many do you?
Well, I didn't know golf was a category, so you can probably toss that one out immediately.
Okay.
I probably have business suits and business casual, because some of my post-military career was business casual. Leisure, I don't know what that is as far as suits would be.
You're wearing, well, we're going to get to that in a second. I'll tell you exactly.
And what was the 5th one?
Formal.
I definitely, I know what formal is. That'd be like a tuxedo or something, but I don't have that right now.
Okay. So here you go. You ready? So you probably have 3 categories you fall into it based on your lifestyle. Let's go over them. Business. Business always means a suit, Chris. Always. And a tie. That's business.
Yep.
You're walking into a meeting, you're serious, what you're about to do, what you perform, you're doing a case, you're going for an interview, it's business. Period. End of story. Business casual, there's a lot of definitions for business casual, so let me touch on them. Some people think business casual is just a nice sport shirt and a pair of slacks. It's not. Business casual means a sport coat or a blazer. Here's the difference. A sport coat has character. Maybe it's a tweed. Maybe it's a plaid. Maybe it's a pinstripe. Maybe it's a window pane. It has character to it. That's a sport coat. A blazer is solid. It can mean navy, black, purple, pink. Doesn't matter. That's for men and for women. That's the difference between a sport coat and a suit, okay? Or a sport coat and a blazer. Now, business casual means either one of those, sport coat or blazer, with a pair of jeans, cotton pants, chino pants, open collar shirt. That takes you to business casual, or even night on the town with the wife. Okay.
Right.
But now I recommend a classic navy blazer, a beautiful white dress shirt. It's crisp, a pair of jeans, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's business casual. Leisure is what you're wearing. I mean, leisure. I'm wearing a nice shirt and tie, but I don't want to stand up because I'm leisure on the bottom. I might be wearing shorts, right? But leisure could be flip-flops, shorts, cutoffs. It's what your leisure.
Yeah, most of the 20 years done podcasts are podcasts on the top and leisure on the bottom. That's fair. Right. It's all over Zoom.
I love it. So there you go. Business casual, leisure. Forget about golf. Now formal. Let's touch on that for a second. Here's a fashion faux pas. All your listeners should listen to this. It's really important. Never, and I mean never, rent a tuxedo. A woman's not going to rent a gown. She's going to buy a gown, buy a dress.
Right.
You don't need to buy a tux, but here's where you would invest in a black suit. Because a black suit, you can wear it with a vest. You can wear a tuxedo shirt under that black suit with a black bow tie white pocket square, and you're James Bond ready.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So that's, you know, semi-formal, black tie affair, what have you. So those are the 5 categories that, depending on your lifestyle, most of us fall into.
So I noticed you posted something on LinkedIn, I think a couple weeks ago or a week ago, talking about you always leave a button unbuttoned on the suit. And I'll tell you what, like the military, they don't do that. It's written, it's codified in the regulations. You need a button the jacket, or at least I think it is. Or I was just so inept at the whole thing that I always had a button. I think it does. But even when I came out of the military, I had everything buttoned up for a long time, and that just doesn't work. And I don't know what didn't prompt me to look around at every other person wouldn't have a button, but I button both. Can you explain like why it is that button is even there and why you don't button it?
Yes. I mean, okay. So the answer to your question is this. You only, if on a 2-button jacket, you don't buy 3, a 2-button model, you keep the top button buttoned, the bottom button unbuttoned. The reason for that is the silhouette. So you want it symmetrical. So when you have a tailored suit, it's going to come in and drop down. If you button the bottom button, it's all going to be, comes in too tight.
Yeah.
So Lincoln has it though. I think it's the 1800s or 1900s. I think it was King Edward was a little paunchy, and he actually, it's a true story. He actually buttoned the top button only so that his girth of him was more relaxed. But, you know, but the way that today's clothing is, you want to keep that one button on. The other thing too is if you're wearing a vest, you don't want to button your jacket at all. You want to show the vest off.
Yeah, that's fair. So you kind of mentioned that, you know, your goal was to have suits that lasted, you know, 5-7 years or more. I guess either stylistically or just maintenance wise, like how often should your wardrobe kind of be replenished? And I guess how many suits should somebody have, like me, where I'm going to be wearing suits? Is it, you know, you kind of talked about colors, I assume.
Great question. Love the question. So let me answer it for you. So someone like you, now you're going to law school, you know, you're going to be in a law firm. You're definitely, I mean, no one wants to deal with a lawyer wearing a golf shirt, right? You want to be professional. So I'm going to recommend you have minimum 5 to 6 suits because you can rotate them. And the colors you're going to start with, again, as you're building a house, you're building a strong foundation in your wardrobe. Navy blue, charcoal gray, medium gray, indigo, and maybe something in earth tone. Well, once you establish those, then you start having fun. You know, you start at maybe do a pinstripe, do a texture, something in a plaid. But once you're going to always build the basics first. Now, but if you're transitioning and you're looking for a job that's not requiring wearing suits, having 1 or 2 would be plenty, because you don't want to go into, you know, different interview and a different look.
So if you only had 1 or 2, which colors would you recommend? Like my knee jerk is like the charcoal gray or the medium gray, and then like a blue, navy blue or something. Yep. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, four colors. Okay, navy, charcoal, medium gray, and indigo blue. Now, when you're buying 1 or 2, any combination would be apropos, because it's going to be, again, it's going to take you from, let's say, a charcoal suit and indigo. It gives you a dark, gives you a light.
Yep.
And then with the shirt combinations, it's going to allow you to wear different combinations with it, and it'll take you to different interviews and whatnot, not dressing the same.
So obviously men and women, they have to assemble their sort of professional appearance differently, because there's just different sort of ingredients. We kind of talked before, there's 10 fashion items for men, there's 10 fashion items for women. What are those? Can you go through what those are and kind of how they interrelate and why they're so important?
Absolutely. So let's talk about the 10 women's fashion items that stand the test of time as they're building their wardrobe. The good thing about it, as you're building your wardrobe, you don't need to buy it all at once. Buy pieces. So here's the 10 items for women.
Okay.
You want to buy 1 suit. It's either gray, black, or navy. I recommend black. It's classic, elegant, and looks very professional. Black leggings for women. Everyone should have a pair of black leggings because they can wear it with a blazer, under a dress. Definitely an article of clothing that will interchangeable. A basic white t-shirt. That t-shirt can be a crew neck, a v-neck, a cow neck,
Button-down shirt.
an all-day, everyday dress. Well, what does that mean? It can mean a solid, could mean a small pattern, definitely below the knee, because on an everyday dress, you can throw a jacket over it. A pair of blue jeans, a lightweight jacket, a classic blazer. Remember we talked about it? Navy, black, purple, pink, doesn't matter. A pair of black slip-on ankle boots is a great shoe to have for women. And of course, women like handbags. Is it a large tote? Is it a backpack? I recommend when they go to the interview to keep it simple. Maybe put their resume in a folder. So those are the 10 items for women.
Okay. So that's very different from what a man's going to have, clearly, right?
Absolutely. Now, keep this in mind. Remember, when women's jackets, sometimes they run a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we talked about the vents in the back of a coat. On a man, he should wear a double vent, not a center vent.
Mm.
A woman can wear a center vent. Here's why. On a center vented coat for a man, it's going to skirt out, especially if we have a little junk in the trunk, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
On a woman, the jacket's shorter, so she can wear a center vent.
Oh, because it's not going to flex around the hips. It's kind of sit at the small of the back. Is that how it's going to be?
That's correct.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So what are the 10 for men?
A pink suit.
Well, I already got number one.
I want to make sure
Who
everyone's
would've thought?
listening there, man. Okay. All right, here we go. A medium gray suit, a navy blazer, a navy suit, a white dress shirt, just a simple classic white dress shirt, a black pair of chino pants, khaki chino pants, a pair of chestnut color shoes. Brown is almost like a peanut butter color.
Mm-hmm.
A pair of black slip-on shoes, a pale blue or light blue shirt, and a pair of blue jeans. Now, let me touch on the shoes for a second for men. Stay away from square-toed shoes. Only wear round toe. Here's the reason why. On a square-toed shoe, the way today's clothing is, it's more tailor-made. It's a little more trim.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wearing a square-toed shoe, it's going to accentuate your feet.
Mm.
A round toe will take away from it. So keep that in mind. Okay. But here's the interesting part. You know, on the men's shoe, you have lace-ups. You don't need both lace-ups. One lace-up, one slip-on will be good.
What's the benefit of the slip-on as far as like style?
Comfortability.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. That's legit.
And sometimes, I mean, if you want to get technical, I mean, you know, I love to be challenged, but no one wants to challenge me. So, you know, you can wear a slip-on shoe as long as it has some sheen to it. Not a patent leather,
Yep.
but has, you know, it looks clean. Maybe it's perforated at the ends, that kind of thing. But a slip-on shoe, nothing's wrong with that at all.
Is there any scenario where you want to wear patent leather out in the real world?
No.
Okay. So what you're saying is all the people that are transitioning, you cannot use your dress shoes from the military.
You said that, not me, buddy.
Fair. And I'm also not the expert, so take it with a grain of salt, we'll say. So you've been doing Salute to Suits for like 8 years now. Like, what's coming up next?
Well, quite a few things. Let me share that with you. So we're going to be expanding our women's collection. Right now, we offer just a black suit because it's classic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own the women's side of the house. So it took me several years to really develop it, to make sure that the manufacturer I'm going to use, that they're going to present the same quality that we offer on the men's side. So we'll be offering more colors like navy and gray sometime this year. We have something coming out calling our executive suit protection. It's a stretch fabric. It's going to be geared toward security, CIA, FBI, and then for a man who just likes his suits to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a poor man's John Wick suit, if you will. It's not bulletproof, but but there's some features to it that are pretty cool. For instance, where you put your microphone, there's going to be an extensive fabric around the back so that when your gun rubs on the fabric, it doesn't break it down.
Right.
Okay, it's going to be quadruple stitched every single place.
That's got to be a good, especially for, the clientele that you're looking to serve, because a lot of them move into those sorts of positions. So that's certainly probably filling a need that was likely unaddressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We'll stick with basic colors, but for the most part, it's pretty exciting. The other thing about it is that they're going to be separates. So let's just say that a guy who's a 50 jacket, he's big, but he's like a 38 waist, he can buy, we can offer a separate pant, which makes it easier for tailoring for him and for us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Okay. And then here's what I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping sometime next month. So we have a lot of leadership clientele that we take care of. People who are in the finance world, from the ex-military. They want a little nicer suit, or more expensive, if you will. So we're going to be launching Salute. It's going to be Elegance by Salute2Suit.
Oh, interesting.
It's going to be our high-end goods. So as an example, let's call it woolen cashmere. It's a luxury collection that's to no other. I mean, the construction of it, and I'll be very detailed. We're going to be putting a floating chest piece in there. There's something, it's called Heimlo, which is horsehair inside the coat that floats with you as you're wearing the jacket. The fabric is it's Italian made, Italian piece goods. There's all kinds of mills in Italy. There's Cerruti 1881s, there's Loro Piana cashmeres. These are the kind of fabrics we'll be offering, because I feel right now we have a handful. It's not a big market, but there's a handful of individuals that want that higher end goods, if you will, right? So Elegance by Salute2Suit, I'm really excited for. We're going to have custom shirts, a full-blown custom shirt where we design it exactly for you. You can pick your collar, your cuffs, monograms. We can do different stripes, mother of pearl buttons that don't break. You name it, we're going to have it. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping to launch that sometime in March, but it's going to be very expensive.
No, I appreciate you saying that up front.
And I'll just give you an example. The suit, if you were to go to Neiman Marcus, not even Nordstrom, but Neiman Marcus, or a custom house, if you will, quote unquote custom house, that suit's going to cost you about $1,200. But from us, it's going to be half that price. Again, because we own the cloth.
But that's not that expensive. You said it was going to be expensive.
Well, I mean, think about it for a second. If your leadership, and there's different, I hate to say it, but there's different incomes, right?
Yeah.
So that's the starting price. So let's just call it at $595 the starting price. But now you're going to go suit at, let's say, $1,100. And you're going to get a shirt that's going to be $250.
Yep.
That's a big jump from a shirt at $25.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But it's like, this isn't something that a person that's transitioning out of the military is going to want to dive right into. This is get set up with a good transition wardrobe. So that way you can walk into a career, have lots and lots of success. And then as you grow, then you would be able to expand your wardrobe to something like this, which even still is, from everything I've read, this is still like a really good price.
Yeah, it's a great price. It's going to be, put it this way, it's going to be definitely a Rolls Royce, but you can afford it.
Right. So you kind of mentioned at the very beginning about your background that you were like trained in tailoring in these things in London. Can you tell me about what that was like, or where you went?
So there's different housing. So Savile Row is the premier place for a true custom clothing. I mean, there's houses like, let's call it Jeeves and Hawks. They're just to name a few, okay? But these houses, these fabrications are English cloth, let's call it Holland and Sherry. You're talking about a true master tailor. A master tailor is a big difference between a master tailor and a seamstress. A master tailor, and I'll walk you through it. You lay down an entire, let's call it 4.5 yards of fabric. Let's just say that you want a pinstripe suit. If you ever see a pinstripe suit now, a man wearing it on the shoulders, the pinstripes are off the mark. They're not
lined up. Yeah.
On a custom suit, when you're going to that fabric, you literally have a magnifying glass, and we go through it. There's no nooks and crannies, no flaws in the fabric, right? Is it a Loro Piana woolen cashmere? Just so you know, Loro Piana, that house, a jacket is $2,500 just for
Right.
one coat. So you got to go to the magnifying glass to look at every nook and cranny. So when the suit's actually cut, there's a pattern that's made. The pattern picks up, we put it on them, and we look at it, right? That's when we start putting the chest piece on, the Heimlo on, the shoulder pattern. Is a softer shoulder? Is it more of a padded shoulder? How does he like? Is it more of an English fit? You know, does he have cuffs in his pants? So those are all, I mean, every minute detail. You know, is it surgical cuffs? Well, what does the surgical cuff mean? Well, a surgical cuff means that when we make the actual cuff, the buttons unbutton and you can actually roll the sleeve up like a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they call them surgical cuffs, right?
Oh, interesting.
These are the techniques that I learned over the years. I also had the privilege of working with one of the best master tailors, Italian tailor, back in the days. I gotta give him he's gone now, but God rest his soul. A gentleman named Valdo Veneri from Sicily. The Italian tailors really know their craft, just like the Englishmen do. So I come from that whole background to really know what a quality suit looks like. How is it made? You know, and I'll give you a little quick tidbit on our suits that are tailor made. They all have pick stitching inside. The armhole, every man perspires, so we put sweat bands underneath the armpits.
Oh, that is bougie.
And then you have different pockets inside of a coat, cell phone pocket, wallet pocket. The pants, they should be lined down to the knee. That's great for comfortability, perspiration. Reinforced crotch piece. Some men split the pants. This will prevent a little bit of it. It's called a curded waistband. What does that mean? Well, I'm a big guy. So when we put on pants, our pants tend to roll after a while because of our guts. Well, if it's a if it's a double curded waistband, it'll help prevent that a little bit. So these are all the little techniques that we put in, all the little bells and whistles, if you will. It's funny. No one wants to know how the sausage is made. Just give me the sausage, right? So, you know, sometimes we take longer, and I give a disclaimer to all of our customers. We're not perfect. We're bound to make a mistake eventually. If and when that happens, all we ask is the opportunity to correct it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, don't blow us up on LinkedIn or a platform and say, hey, these guys didn't take care of us or whatnot. Not that people do, but we kind of prevent that. So I give that disclaimer so that, again, I built my brand on honesty, integrity, and being very transparent.
The first time I listened to one of the podcasts you're on, I realized I didn't know a lot. That's why I had so many questions today. But it's really because I feel like, as you've identified, service members, I think, are just, our fashion muscles have atrophied from being in the service for so long that when we come out, it's like there's a very steep learning curve. And I think what a lot of veterans struggle with too is integrating into the civilian sector. We respond to questions differently. We stand differently. We speak differently. Acronyms we're not familiar with. We use these other acronyms. Our resumes have to take a lot of, ironically, tailoring to get it so it's understandable by the civilian sector. And I think wardrobe is also a very important part of repackaging your military experience, along with all the other things, to bring to bear your knowledge, your expertise, and your work ethic to the civilian sector. And ironically, I think the civilian sector really craves veteran employees because of a lot of the skill sets that we bring. But there seems to be like that really narrow disconnect, just getting into the interview, making them comfortable with you, and then getting into the position, then excelling. And some veterans do well and others don't. But I feel like what you're doing is, I'm going to take off one of the variables that might eliminate you from this career. I'm going to make sure you're set up so you look good. You go in the interview, you're comfortable, you're wearing the suit correctly, you're understanding how to wear it as well. Like, it goes to me, I think my first interview, I had all my buttons buttoned on the suit, right? So like, you know, that's a really important element that I think is very often overlooked. So I, for one, am really grateful for what you do. I think it's even more remarkable that you don't come from a military background, which means you're taking this long history of working in this industry and then doing it in service to, your country through helping veterans and service members. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I can't thank you enough.
I want to give you my philosophy for everyone. And I truly believe this over the years. Each person, male or female, they should dress to accommodate and accentuate their own individuality. Don't follow fashion rules, trends, or fads. That's why they're called that. Stick with the basics, the classics, the things I mentioned earlier in the podcast, and you can't go wrong. However, with that said, there's a part of branding yourself. Pick out one thing. As a man, maybe you like colorful ties. Maybe you enjoy crazy socks. Maybe you like pocket squares. Find that one thing that separates you from everybody else and rock it. Women, maybe you like pastel glosses, purples, light purple, lilac, yellows, pale blue. Find some, again, maybe a jewelry, maybe a watch, maybe a certain handbag. Find that one thing and own it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I know you've been, I think you had 2 other engagements before this podcast today. So I certainly appreciate you coming on and talking. Also, you've been gracious enough to, we're going to do a giveaway for some of the listeners. You, as a listener, you need to be able to answer a few questions about today's episode specific to suits and style and all these things. Be on the lookout for that. And Arod, man, I really can't thank you enough, both for coming on the podcast, but also what you do. And I can't wait to watch the company continue to grow. And I'm going to make sure I send all of my listeners and all my friends over. And I'm sure you're probably if you haven't already figured this out, I'm going to be a customer here in the next probably couple of days or weeks or whatever.
And one last thing, Bud, really quick. So I don't know if your listeners know, but everyone we hire, our whole team is all prior military. Yeah. We don't hire civilians because you have work ethics. So keep on the lookout, which I forgot to mention, that we're going to be looking for some suit advisors that we can train, that we can work remotely, and as our company grows.
And you said you're based in the Las Vegas area?
Yes. Yep. Las Vegas, Nevada.
So are you looking at any potential positions that are local as well?
Sure. Local, but I want to kind of capture Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina for obvious reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So be on the lookout for any of those career stuff. I'm sure, Arod, if you have any career stuff, send it to me on LinkedIn and I'll broadcast it out.
That'd be awesome.
Which is also a reminder that if you are transitioning or soon to transition service member, if you haven't got your LinkedIn up and running, you need to, because I'd like to point out that I met Arod through LinkedIn. So clearly it works as a business sort of networking thing. And that's also where you'd be able to probably spot job openings for Salute2Suit, which, as Arod said, they employ prior service member veterans. Once again, another avenue they give back to the service members. So, Arod, thank you very much. You've been awesome. Do you have anything else you want to add?
That's it. My pleasure, my friend. I appreciate you and everything you do for the community. And just tell your listeners, I'm here. My door's always open. It's my pleasure and my honor to give back to the community. It's very dear to me. So feel free. Any questions, you need some guidance, reach out to me.
And the website is salute2suit.com. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right. Adios. Arod has offered to give away 1 free men's suit and 1 free women's suit to any Salute2Suit eligible listener. All that's required is you publicly share the 20 Years Done episode 55 Salute2Suit Facebook post. When you share it, if you want to enter the giveaway for the men's suit, list in your Facebook post the 10 fashion items for men that stand the test of time. If, on the other hand, you're entering for a women's suit, in your public Facebook post, list the 10 fashion items for women that stand the test of time. I will review all the publicly shared posts on March 4th, 2022, and on March 5th, randomly select a winner from those shares and comment on the shared posts of the winner. If you don't have a Facebook or don't share the post publicly, unfortunately, you won't qualify for the giveaway. Good luck, and thanks for listening.